Hello and welcome back to How About That Crypto. You are watching your daily crypto news and updates with your host, Bitcoin Stylist on Twitter and Bitcoin Hairstylist on Instagram. Monday through Friday, I explain crypto and Web3 while keeping you up to date on all the latest. Today's news stories are NFT lawsuit over stolen Bored Ape Yacht Club. That's right. Yesterday, we talked about the OpenSea hack. Well, one victim thinks it's OpenSea's fault that he clicked a scammy link. Let's check that out. SEC lawsuit against Ripple Labs seems to have taken a turn for the worse. A turn for the worse against the SEC, that is. More on this exciting news in just a second. If you like or don't like the content, please let me know by leaving a comment below. Please like and subscribe. And if you're watching or if you're listening on podcast, please give me 5 stars. And just to be clear and litigious, this is not financial advice. This is for entertainment purposes only. You can use the links below to do your own research. All right. Yesterday, I discussed OpenSea hack. It turns out it's, well, as we know, as far as we know right now, it is a phishing attack. And a phishing attack is basically when a person sends you a link or a text message, an email, something, and they get you to click on that link or give them access to an account whereby posing as somebody else. And so the phishing victim claims OpenSea showed negligence, and I'm very curious to see how this plays out. The fashionlaw.com reports that OpenSea named in a lawsuit after Bored Ape NFT was stolen in a hack. Well, the defendant's name is Timothy McKimmey, claims his Bored Ape Yacht Club was stolen during a hack of OpenSea. And if you're watching on YouTube, then you can see I pulled up the lawsuit. And if you're listening on podcast, you can just click on the link in the description below to see the same picture. But it's a picture of a bunch of different Bored Ape Yacht Club NFTs. These are the NFTs that are going, hundreds of thousands to over $1 million. Okay, so Timothy McKimmey claims his Bored Ape Yacht Club was stolen during a hack of OpenSea. Someone bought it for under $5, and now they're turned around to sell it for almost $600,000, which is pretty funny. You buy something for $3, $4, and now it's sold for $598,000. It's pretty dope, and I wish I could get my hands on something like that, but not if it was stolen from somebody. Okay, so we got a little excerpt from this here. And it says, in terms of the fault of the part of the hacked OpenSea users, it has been reported that the hacker tricked victims into signing a partial digital contract for the NFT trade by way of a phishing email. So I don't know if that's called a hack. I never would have considered that a hack. It says the alleged vulnerability that led to the widely reporting phishing attack was not unknown to OpenSea, McKimmey claims, arguing that OpenSea was aware of security vulnerabilities in its platform, and that despite having full knowledge of these security issues, the popular platform did not properly inform its users and did not timely put adequate safety measures in place. So like I said, based on all the reports that I've had so far, there was no fault of OpenSea, but this guy is claiming that there is fault on OpenSea's part. Maybe there was some, I don't even understand how there could be a vulnerability and you got an email and someone clicked on the email that gave them permission to steal your stuff. So like, Timmy claims that OpenSea knew the vulnerability, also that they failed to implement policies and procedures to secure assets. I wonder, maybe they need better security measures. I don't know. Maybe there is something they could do. Maybe since they are helping sell, and it's a marketplace for assets that are over $1 million, maybe they should be more secure like a bank. He wants his Bored Ape Yacht Club back, or he wants $1 million. So I got this really awesome thing here. And if you're watching on YouTube, then you can see this is his Bored Ape Yacht Club. Someone listed for 255 ETH, valued at just under $600,000. But this is the most interesting part. Let's see, right here. Having unsuccessfully attempted to resolve the issue numerous times with OpenSea, which has failed to reserve the transaction, returned the Bored Ape, and or provide adequate remedy. McKimmey filed the lawsuit seeking over $1 million. As for what the value of the stolen ape NFT might be, the complaint states that is unquestionably has significant value, noting that Justin Bieber purchased Bored Ape number 3001 for 500 ETH or $1.3 million at the time of transactions. Well, Bieber's Bored Ape has a rarity score of only 53.66 and a rarity ranking of number 9777. Distinct from Bieber's ape, McKimmey claims that his ape NFT is actually significantly rarer than Bieber's, putting its value in the millions of dollars and growing as each day passes. You cannot make this stuff up. Like in a lawsuit, someone's saying, well, mine's better than Justin Bieber's. I mean, I feel for the guy, don't get me wrong, but it's just kind of still like you got to laugh when there's time to laugh. And so the lawsuit includes concerns concerns about overseas investors. So the guy is saying that he's not just doing it for himself, he's doing it for everybody in the world. He wants better security measures in place. And when you use OpenSea, you waive the right to trial. So it's going to be interesting to see how this whole thing plays out. There is a disclaimer that says arbitration in New York, and it's all based on New York law. No lawsuits in Texas where this lawsuit is filed. So anyway, that's your update on the OpenSea situation. I thought that was fascinating. It is the first of its kind that I know of. There have been other lawsuits, but nothing quite like this. Let's see if he gets reimbursed because his is better than Justin Bieber's. The reality is, if you want to get into crypto, you can't be some entitled citizen. There aren't the same rules and laws in this space yet. You have to be vigilant. You have to take extra security measures, especially if you're dropping millions. You will be a target. We are all targets. I'm a target because I'm going to get up on YouTube and people can just figure out, oh, that guy must have crypto. Well, don't go too deep into my crypto wallet because you ain't going to get no $1 million, but I'm just saying, this is why we need regulatory framework around this stuff. I do support some sort of measures. It'll be very interesting to see how this thing plays out. It's very unfortunate. I do feel for the guy. People fall for these kind of attacks all the time, and they don't result in loss of millions of dollars worth of stuff. So there are plenty of other victims of these scams. Maybe this will wake up these marketplaces to the demand of the users. Maybe we'll see better security measures. Meanwhile, NFT sales on OpenSea have not slowed at all, and things just kind of went right back to where they were. Okay, so now for an update on SEC versus Ripple Labs. Well, first, let me know what you think about this case. Do you think this person has any legs to stand on? Do you think that it's going to go, be in his favor? Do you think OpenSea will try to make him whole, or do you think they're going to be like, sorry, buddy, you fell victim to a scam that had nothing to do with us? Or is OpenSea know something that they're not telling us? So I guess this lawsuit, no matter what you think of it, might turn out to be a positive thing. All right, moving on. Now for leave a comment below. Let me know what you think. Agree or disagree, or something new thought to give. Now for an update on the SEC versus Ripple Labs. If you've been watching this news channel, you will know that the biggest lawsuit right now that we have is the SEC versus Ripple Labs. Lawsuit was filed at the end of 2020. It's been going on for over a year now, and the whole argument is whether the crypto is considered a security or a commodity. A commodity is like cash. It has uses and you cannot expect profits. A security is something that you as the buyer expect some third party to perform work to create profits, and you will benefit from it. Well, Ripple Labs is saying that you can't expect profits from this. This is a utility token. This is cash. This is used in a system for purposes. You could speculate on the rise of the currency, just like if you were some rich person back in the beginning of America, you could speculate that America is going to do well and buy their currency and hold on to it and hope that your French francs could buy less or more, whatever, US dollars. So so you could speculate on the value of a currency going up, but you can't expect it to go up based on the work of a third party. So anyway, if that confused you, the point is a security is like a stock and commodities like cash. So hopefully that clarifies things. Multiple former SEC officials gave speeches during the Trump administration, and they said that these are my opinions, but we at the SEC believe blah, blah, blah. So it's been really confusing because they're like, well, I said it was my own opinion. And they're like, but you also said we, the SEC. And then another SEC official came out and said, we, the SEC, look at that speech, but this is just my opinion. So it's a bunch of BS. It is not their opinion. And I've been maintaining that position from the beginning. However, that is the SEC's position since they put that little disclaimer out, but created tons of confusion. So anyway, this was largely viewed as guidance to the industry by industry participants, especially because during this time, the SEC was deliberately not responding to inquiries on the SEC. That is documented fact. So you can go and do that research if you want. And I've left links throughout all of these episodes to verify all of this information, including the links below and links on all the other episodes that I report on this lawsuit. Now, let's not even talk about conflict of interest, because each one of these people that gave those speeches said that Bitcoin and Ethereum are not securities, but then turned around and filed a lawsuit against the #1 competitor, Ethereum, which caused delisting of XRP and for the value to tank. And then they left the SEC and went to work at places where they were only working on investment firms that only invested in Bitcoin and Ethereum. Okay, but that's conflict of interest. So that's not what the case is about. Anyway, the case is whether or not Ripple Labs sold XRP as a security or if it should be considered a commodity. Well, last week, the judge ordered Ripple Labs turn over memos from their lawyers to see if they had any guidance from lawyers saying that, hey, you can't do this because the SEC is going to say this is security. So it turns out that even if the SEC is not giving you rules and they're being unclear on guidance, even with these speeches, from my understanding and from my research, it doesn't matter, because if you, the company, or Ripple Labs went and sought counsel to ask them, is this going to be a problem with the SEC? And the lawyers said yes, then technically you have already broken the law, even though there is no law to break. So that's an interesting point to understand. Well, let's start with the memos. Okay, so also Ripple argued that they wanted the emails that led up to these speeches that the SEC is claiming that are personal opinions. They want to see all the emails turned over. Okay, so now let's start with the memos. Protocol.com reports in an article entitled Ripple faced XRP risk with SEC in 2012, documents show. It says the memos indicated that Ripple sought legal counsel. Counsel explained that it would be seen as a security. Ripple made some changes that resulted in a second memo, and the counsel said that it is not a security, but the SEC may disagree, meaning that you are taking a risk, but we don't think it's a security, but the SEC might disagree with their analysis. So Ripple claims a victory. I get a happy face. The industry gets a happy face. But I'm cautiously optimistic because this is by no means an absolute victory, but it looks good. It sounds good. However, I think we should wait and see, as more analysis comes out and see how this impacts the case moving forward, because the SEC has not been able to comment on it. Now, let's get into the speech stuff, because there's also the issue with guidance by the SEC. And CryptoGlobe.com reports that U.S. lawyer on SEC versus Ripple lawsuit. SEC could lose both its pawn and its bishop. And I have that for you here. And like I said, if you're listening on podcast, you can see the links and description below. I'm just going to read an excerpt from this so you can just follow along. And it says that the ongoing argument in is that Ripple did not have notice. So the biggest defense that Ripple Labs has is that they did not have notice. It's called the fair notice. So SEC is like, we don't have to give you notice that you're breaking the law. You should already know that. And plus your lawyers told you that. Well, it's like, I don't know if the lawyers exactly told you that. So we're going to have to fight this one out in court and let a judge decide on that. And they're like, well, what about all these speeches? It's like, well, for a long time, they were saying that these speeches were personal opinions. Well, the SEC says that it's its own opinion, so they can't use it as defense. But Ripple has demanding that they prove this by showing the emails that led up to this speech. And the judge says that it's not privileged. So there's this thing called deliberative privilege process, meaning that the government does not have to tell you how they came up with these decisions, because that could give you insight to how the government works and allow for bad actors to do things that are bad. And so I have a little excerpt from this article. This article. This is from the courts. It says that the most recent event in this lawsuit took place on February 17th when Layden Stewart, senior trial counsel at Division of Enforcement at the SEC, wrote a letter to the judge. And it says down here, it says that after reviewing entry 9, the court found that the emails concerning the speech or draft versions are neither pre-decisional nor deliberative agency documents entitled to protection under deliberative process privilege. So translation, these are his personal opinions. So the judge said, well, then they're not privileged, hand them over. And it says, and it ordered the SEC to produce them other documents previously withheld based on this privilege. So basically, hey, we say they're privileged. Judge says, well, they're his personal opinions, and then so they're not privileged. Well, he continues, this is where it gets good. Reconsideration of this aspect of the court's decision is warranted because the court based its decision on a single document relating to the speech, one that defendants chose to highlight for the court, and did not consider the 67 other emails attaching drafts of the speech that were before the court on defendant's motion. These additional documents, along with other matters available to the court described below, demonstrate that the speech was not merely peripheral to actual policy formation and was in fact an essential link in the SEC's deliberative process with respect to Ether. So the speech itself and the many drafts and comments by SEC staff across different SEC divisions and offices deliberating the agency's approach to regulation of digital assets show that Director Hinman and other SEC staff use the speech to provide public guidance. No blink, you know what I'm saying? Like, I have been reporting on this, and if you go back, you can see I gave you links on the SEC page that shows Hinman's speech that says this is how we figured it out. And then the chair, Clayton, of the SEC at the time gave another speech at Georgetown and said, look at Hinman's speech for guidance. Come on, you can't make this stuff up. So anyway, so that's your updates on the SEC lawsuit. Basically, SEC is saying it was guidance, and it's just like mind blown. I cannot believe it's taken a year for this to come out. And it just goes to show, like, if the SEC wants to drag their feet and make shit up, then they can. You know, it's like crazy. So anyway, where does this leave things? I don't know. It's going to take some time to play out, but I will keeping a watchful eye. It seems to be good news that crypto is not a security. And if that's the case, then all the other ones that were released prior to this stuff are going to be grandfathered in theory, and all crypto will go to the moon. Woo! All right. All right, so we'll see. I'll keep a watchful eye. Tell me what you think. Do you think that, you know, we're interpreting this right, or do you think that we're missing something here? And I would love to hear from you. Give me a comment, like, subscribe, give me 5 stars. It doesn't cost you anything, and it helps support me. So have a good day. Hodl on.